як птахи, високо у небі літаки, але видно їх землі таки. В небі уночі посеред зірок тихо пролетів цятка літачок. Скільки там життів, скільки там думок, у собі таїть цятка літачок. Літаки, в небі літаки, а ми на землі навпаки. З висоти таки ми здаємося небо цятки. В небі уночі посеред зірок тихо пролетів цятка літачок. Скільки там життів, скільки там думок, у собі таїть цятка літачок. В небі уночі посеред зірок тихо пролетів цятка літачок. Скільки там життів, скільки там думок, у собі таїть цятка літачок. В небі уночі посеред зірок тихо пролетів цятка літачок. Скільки там життів, скільки там думок, у собі таїть цятка літачок. В небі уночі посеред зірок тихо пролетів цятка літачок. Скільки там життів, скільки там думок, у собі таїть цятка літачок. В небі уночі посеред зірок тихо пролетів цятка літачок. Скільки там життів, скільки там думок, у собі таїть цятка літачок.
Доброго вечора, шановне товариство. Олександре, вітанечко. Модератор на місці, що не може не радувати. Так, отже, до мільйона. Наші справи до мільйона, ми близько. Але є ще що робить. Тут я бачу політ. Якраз до Антонова. Звичайно, на Цесні 172, а не на... І, до речі, дивіться, зараз там іде стрім з розробниками. Можна би було в цілому, напевне, і його подивитися. В магазині в мене нарешті з'явилися літаки, всі літаки, які я купляв в 2020 році. І це не може не радувати. То є 225, є Бічкрафт 18. Цепелін є 340, я навіть бачив десь. Так, і, наприклад, деякі покупки пишуть, що вони недоступні для 20-го, бо несумісні. Так що ось таке. Зараз я швидесенько гляну. Що там у нас? А, вони таки не почали ж? Перенесли? Це в 7 GMT. Якщо розробники, це ж сторонні розробники їх робили, якщо вони зможуть це зробити, то так. мало би бути ж. Але нема. Десять 30. Окей, тобто в 19:30 по-нашому. Це зрозуміло. Ну, подивимося тоді якраз за той час. Можливо, щось з'явиться. Так, let's go тоді сюди. І за той час, поки вони там щось будуть розказувати, ми виконаємо перельотик. Це що, Кропивницький Антонов? Ну, непогано. Доброго вечора, Міхалець. Як? Ви вже купили білугу? Теоретично мені нічого не заважає. Ну, мені заважають лише гроші. Відсутність грошей, точніше. Мені нічого не заважає перейти в реактивні літачки. Маленькі. Але ж вони, блін, коштують, напевне, купу грошей. І погано, що ти не можеш ціни подивитися до того, як щось зробиш. Бачиш лише ціни на те, що... На все ти бачиш тут ціни? Чи тільки на ті, що карго? Тільки ті, що карго. 306 мільйонів. Жах. Ось поза Україною є. До речі, такий прикол. Якщо ви, наприклад, хочете штати відкрити, ви можете сюди полетіти лише пілотом. І це буде значно дешевше. Але потім все-таки треба буде і літак перенести. Про це теж не забувайте. Тобто, наприклад, мені, щоб перелетіти сюди в Іспанію, треба 12 тисяч заплатити, щоб літак перевезли. Що, в принципі, небагато. Аго, серваки. Добре, поїхали. А чого я час не можу вибрати? А, то раніше треба було час вибрати. Який ще регіон? У мене гейм. У мене через Xboxівський цей. Цей ж регіон ні на що не впливає. Бо я пам'ятав, де він. Це ні на що не впливає. І дропдаун не можна зробити, господи, кляті. Я не хотів в 8 вечора летіти. Хоча можна. Тут у нас темніє 5 вже. Та в мене теж не було, але бач, зараз перевантажилось. Розумієш, це така штука, цей лист Cloud. Ти, звичайно, можеш говорити, що в тебе все робить, а через хвилину не буде працювати. Це Кропивницький, так що військовий? Ні, це звичайний. Це так процедура, залітаєш десь. Невідомо звідки. Так, напевно, ось так піду. Що так ми зачіпаємо жуляни. Тисяч. Let's go. О, кілограм, правильно? Ні, 78 кілограм. Тобто це літри? Сербев світанячка. Тоді конверсія сходиться. Напевно, що. Добрий вечір. А чого тракер голови не працює? What? Чи він в цьому режимі не працює? Фракаїр. Дивина та й годин. Чуть не цей не впав. Якийсь такий пролаг був. Вітер, йойки. А ми точно долетимо. Десенсибл вітаннячко. Дивно, що в мене тільки та стійка пошкоджена. Як так? Олива. Це теж бісить, що... Як його? Що тільки з підказками ти бачиш, що відбувається. Без підказок тобі навіть не тригерить, що ти на щось дивишся там. Сумно. Це треба просто подивитися. А це треба порухати від гори донизу. Я не знаю, чи треба робити. Певно, що ні. Let's go. І дивіться, мені здається, що від цього залежить, що від цього штурвал повертається. Так, бачите, він зараз в крайньому положенні. Дивимося ще раз, так. Окей. Так, а тепер це неподобство вимикаємо. Оце якийсь жах. Як мені включити кар'єр? Тупо не робить. Ну що ж. Ну що ж, ну що ж. Так, куди ми там летимо? Кропивницький. Антонов. Так, Ромео Кіло на 5.17. Супер, дупер є. Let's go. Зараз бавлюся. Та ніби нічого тут. Де вона? Окей, поїхали. Паливні баки обидва. Mixture 100, бікон включений. Player prop. Так, це зробили, це зробили. Navigation Taxi, Python Hit. Є, вмикаємо авіоніку. Expander VFR. On, back. Більше нам такого нічого не треба. Push button. Крутимо, що ми летимо. 8000. Є. Єдине теж. Все, поїхали. Поїхали.
Tower Roscud Alpha Tango, Lima 5012 IFR, to uniform Kilo Kilo Tango, ready to copy.
Roscud Alpha Tango Lima 5012 is cleared to uniform Kilo Kilo Tango Airport. As filed, expect runway 12, maintain flight level 7010. Departure frequency is 135.45 squawk 1242.
Cleared to uniform Kilo Kilo Tango. As filed, runway 12, maintain flight level 7010. Departure frequency is 135.45 squawk 1242 Roscud Alpha Tango.
7010? Flight level?
Roscud Alpha Tango Lima 5012 readback is correct. Contact ground on 124.0 when ready to taxi. Good day.
Captain, are you ready? Great. It's Ladija, your dispatcher, you know?
Ladija.
Just a quick reminder about today's job.
Ну, розказуй. Не хочу. Не хочеш роз... О, нарешті. Реально сервак пропустив половину повідомлень. Let's go!
Ground Roscud Alpha Tango, Lima 5012, ready to taxi IFR.
Roscud Alpha Tango Lima 5012 taxi to. Then hold short of runway 12 using taxiway Alpha. Contact tower on 124.0 when ready.
Taxiing hold short runway 12 using taxiway Alpha Roscud Alpha Tango, Lima 5012.
Ну і що це там стоїть таке? Геть! Сьогодні небо якесь таке ніби 16-бітна графіка. О, так, в Кропивницькому у нас 767. Як би ж нам без нього? Мега реалістично. Ні, так ж ніхто не заставляє кар'єру грати, просто вони це продають як готовий продукт. Тобто ти далі можеш собі фріфлайтити Ну і ти ціни бачив, та? Нам на от таку цесну, щоб заробити, нам треба як мінімум 12 польотів зробити. І це щоб вони відбулися. Ну не кажи, трошки ж помінялося. Подивись, які дерева, подивись, які травичка, які з'їзди, який дисплейсмент. Ми зробили багато для землі і менше для неба. О, там вже почався стрім. Будемо слухати, я буду вам коментувати і хаяти їх. Єдине, що я не знаю, чи можна звук їхній виводити. Зараз опера не своїми голосами заволає, чи ні? Ні, не заволала. Твіч. Microsoft Flight Simulator. Аж уже нема? Нема. No way. Чи я знов щось години неправильно перевірив? Нема. Найбільше харить оце вікно, що тобі зараз треба моніторити, що воно від тебе просить.
Tower Roscoe Alpha Tango Lima 50, 12 ready for IFR departure runway 12.
Roscoe Alpha Tango Lima 50, 12 QNH 1025.
І от чому Гармін малює Runway 12 і зразу від цієї точки? Він ж колись по-старому малював пряму, ще туди далі, а потім лише виводив. А тепер крайньої точки каже зразу летіть туди. Ну от як?
Cleared for takeoff runway 12 Roscoe Alpha Tango Lima 5012.
Бетонка. І що, в нас знову серпень 15-го року. 22-го року, 15 серпня. Як дату міняти? Як літати в сезони в кар'єрі? Ми ж все відкрили. Погану погоду, нічні польоти. Тебе погода зимова, бо вона реалтаймівська. Тебе літак замерзає, а на календарі 15 серпня. Так, це, напевне, трешхолд. Заборонено нічого немає. Тоді розвертаємось. Тример вгору, тример вгору, тример вгору, тример вгору. Ще.
Roscud Alpha Tango Lima 5012 contact Kiev Center on 135.45. Good day.
135.45 Roscud Alpha Tango Lima 5012. Kiev Center Roscud Alpha Tango Lima 5012 is at 1,200 feet, climbing flight level 7010.
Oh my god.
Tango Lima 5012 Kiev Center QNH 1025. Continue as planned.
Вічно. Я вам скажу. Коротше, так це не вміє. Так, хлопці і дівчата, а можна? А, нам треба по 10 тисяч зменшення просити, ну давайте.
Kiev Center Roscud Alpha Tango Lima 5012. Request flight level 6910. Roscud Alpha Tango Lima 5012 climb and maintain flight level 6910. Climb and maintain flight level 6910 Roscud Alpha Tango Lima 5012.
Думаю, це до кінця так якраз по польоту будемо робити.
Kiev Center Roscud Alpha Tango Lima 5012. Request flight level 6810. Roscud Alpha Tango Lima 5012 climb and maintain flight level 6810. Climb and maintain flight level 6810 Roscud Alpha Tango Lima 5012. Kiev Center Roscud Alpha Tango Lima 5012. Request flight level 6710. Roscud Alpha Tango Lima 5012 climb and maintain flight level 6710.
Ні, це ж скільки клікати треба.
Climb and maintain flight level 6710 Roscud Alpha Tango Lima 5012.
I think that's on us. We need to find a way. We obviously have those change lists. And to be honest, I don't know exactly how where we have to get them published, but we have them publishing. So that should be shared with you. No longer that last night we did an update for the carrier services. And I don't think that has... I think we had a communication saying that it was coming in the next minutes, but I don't think the content of it has been pushed. So we need to find a way.
And talking about cloud streaming here, so why is there a reliance on streaming data and what other advantages does it have?
Мої очі!
Yeah, I'm taking this topic. So basically, it's a decision we took, I think, quite a while ago when we saw just how 2020 was going, and it's not, it's a choice. It's really something where I would say we didn't really have a choice. The
Трындець. Треба авіаторські окуляри.
That going with the 2020 way of doing things, it was just not going to fit into that system. So I asked the team who is in charge of building the sim if you wanted to download the entirety of 2024 standard edition. Right now it's 1.4 terabyte, and that's not all the satellite data, the 3 terabyte of world data. That's just what you would have installed in 2020 when you install the sim. You have the exe which downloads.
1,2 терабайти.
Installation once you launch the sim and it downloads
Без
That is
землі.
usually 130, 150. I don't know exactly what it is today. This initial download, and which can
Нормально.
sometimes be a bit slow because the servers, even if you have a gigabit internet, the servers may only deliver. 100
Теоретично
megabits
цей
or 150
дисплей з
gigabits in many
текстури,
cases.
ще щось, вони, напевно,
And
там
that was
16К.
150 gigabytes. On 2024, just standard, it's 1.4 tera, so 1,500. That's way bigger. And I made a quick calculation. Anyone who has like a gigabit super fast internet on 2024.
Мені, в
if we
принципі,
had used the
вражає,
same
що
technology,
оце на Xbox
the
працює,
first
знаєте?
to get into the sim just to download the packages would have taken 25 hours. That's the time it would take to just download everything, because usually the servers are 100 megabit, 150 when they deliver this kind of data. And so thanks to the streaming technology, the real impact, the real difference is you only download what you need when you need. So this basically means you can start flying before you have downloaded everything, because you only need what you need at the time you fly. So the planes you're not using, we're not downloading them in 2024. And this really increases the speed and also the amount of data you use. So we have calculated, so it's not a specific test we did, it's the average data of all the users so far over the 2 weeks. In the first 3 hours, the average use is 18 gigabytes. So that's about 5.6 per hour. So you can, if you compare that to 1.4 terabytes that you would have to needed to download just to launch the sim, it's a huge reduction. So it's really something. I don't think we would have been able to ship the sim with 25 hours minimum download to even launch it and 1.4 terabyte of disk space.
Та добре,
There was
завершую
really
вже
no way
свою
around
цю
this. So that's why we went
історію.
into that direction, and in the end, we believe it's a.
Я не можу повірити, що могло в 10 разів
You launch so
збільшитися.
much faster. The updates are so much faster. The data in these packages can now be updated, and you don't even. So that's what Marcel just said. We're gonna have release notes, but you don't even know the packages updates. You don't have to install, download anything.
Та тут в
when
цьому і
there's
проблема, що ми не знаємо, що ви пофіксили чи не пофіксили.
Okay. And from chat here, will users have the ability to download content in the future? Everything except things like ground textures, like they used to in 2020 for those who have things like monthly data caps or just poor internet
Oops.
speed.
Yeah, so there's really 2 aspects. So downloading everything for bandwidth reduction is actually the wrong way to go, because in the end, when you download everything, you always download more than with the streaming, which only downloads what you need. Even for the user plane, there maybe you will never go look very close to the left wheel, and so you will never need to
Ніколи не
download that
побачите
part in the highest
16.
LOD if you have streaming. So downloading
текстур.
everything upfront is not a solution to reduce bandwidth, with a few exceptions. But it can be useful if maybe you want to travel, like maybe you're in a location where you have a gigabit internet and then you want to go on vacation on a place where it's mobile. Maybe in that case it can be useful to install permanently stuff. So right now the recommendation for people who just want to reduce bandwidth is to use the rolling cache, make it maybe bigger. I've seen people use 128 gigabyte of rolling cache. This way you sure all your aircraft are in the cache.
Enable.
Everything the airports you use are in there. That's the most efficient way. But still, we are planning to allow users to choose for every package if they want to not have it uninstalled, so then you don't see it at all. If you want to have it streamed, which is the current default for the base sim, stream, so that this only downloads what you need when you need it and puts it into the cache, the rolling cache, or a permanent install. In that case, for example, if you always fly the same plane, and you don't want to have a very big cache, like maybe you only want to have 8 or maybe no cache, then it's good to permanently install your plane because you always have it. You will not stream it again. Or maybe you always fly the same airport. Or as I said earlier, you want to go on vacation to a low bandwidth area. You can just pre-install a few aircraft and a few airports. So that's something we will make possible, which will pretty much make it the same as it used to be in 2020, except that you don't have to install the 1.4 terabytes. You can choose to do that if you want. So I don't recommend anyone install 1.4 terabytes, but maybe a few planes or a few things they always use, that could be a good thing.
Okay. And since we're on the subject of the local cache, our next question was about, is it working correctly in its current state, or some people were mentioning that textures seem to be re-downloading often. Is there any news on that?
So currently we find on our measures that we have about an efficiency of
Полармене,
80%
добрий вечір.
on the rolling cache. So 50% of the requests are not sent out to the internet once you have it in the cache, once the cache is filled. Yes, we found issues in some cases on the textures with MIP. So MIP streaming, what we do is textures have MIP maps, so that basically a 4K texture has a 2K version, a 1K version, all the way down to 1 pixel. And very often you don't see the 4K version
В
because
яку
you're
я
too far.
сторону?
And so in that case, we only stream the MIP level you need. And in there, the team found an issue where it's not
Вправо.
perfectly efficient. So sometimes it may re-download, restream texture MIP levels that it doesn't actually need. So that's an optimization we're going to do. And we'll continue investigating to make the rolling cache as efficient as possible.
Так ми над
But as I said,
Смілою
it's
будемо
already around
пролітати.
80% in what we saw. And yeah, hopefully the texture MIP level fix, maybe we'll get to 90%. I don't know how high, but that's the idea. It's already fairly efficient.
Enable.
People talking about when we will be going over the feedback snapshot and such to talk about status of some of those items. So we'll get to that soon.
Теоретично ні.
All right, next
Теоретично
question.
так.
Users have reported severe LOD popping as well as low ground textures on both PC and Xbox. Can you explain why this is happening and what's being done to improve this experience?
So here I think we have quite a few different possible causes. So the very first issue was pretty much the CDN issue we talked at the very beginning. So when the
Цікаво, з ким це говорити? Спочатку з
which is
Борис.
the one which is the second graph I think I showed. When this one was having blue errors, basically your sim would request the texture and the server would say nope, you're not getting the texture. So you would get a blurrier version, a lower LOD. And the other server, which is the package, that's where you have maybe a airport terminal LOD or airplane. Same thing. The sim requests a LOD and a mesh, and the server says nope, you're not getting it. So the first few days, people were having these issues were probably related to this. It is possible in some cases that users. So what is happening? The sim was asking, the server would say no, and I think there's maybe 10 or 20 retries, and then after a while the sim would say, okay, forget it, I will not get that data. And so unfortunately, people over the first few days
Вітаю,
may have
Алексе.
had a pretty much corrupt version of the local data. So that's why I think we recommended for some people to reinstall from scratch.
Reinstall
and
що,
once this
Windows?
was done, there's other possible. Once the CDN was fixed, there's now other possible causes. It could be just a local internet issue. Maybe your router is down or whatever. It could be, so that's more for PC and Xbox. It could be, in some cases, we have extremely low frame rate, and you have enabled dynamic detail adjustment, or I don't know the name exactly in English of the option. So there's this new option in the graphics menu where you can ask the sim to target a frame rate, and it's gonna reduce detail to target the frame rate. And if you set it to a frame rate which is higher than what your computer can achieve, it's gonna just reduce detail. So in that case, just disable this option and see if it goes better. And so don't set that to like 100 or 200 or something like that, because everything, the only thing that's really gonna do is like if you're in ultra, it's gonna be the same as if you were in high, really, pretty much. So The dynamic FPS is really targeted to users who have a, like you turn it off, you fly, you're maybe at 60 if you want to do VR, but sometimes you're dropping to 50, then you use that. It's not useful if you are flying at 30 and you want to go up to 60 with this thing, because all it's going to do is permanently move you down one level of detail. The other thing which can happen is that's more something on console. On console, we have a limited memory. And even though we have had a lot of optimizations on 2024 for memory, eventually the console may run out of memory. It could be because of an unoptimized add-on or unoptimized asset, but it can also be just over time, right? The memory may fragment over time. And something which happens on Xbox is that you have a quick resume. When you quit the sim, it doesn't always quit the sim. It usually just sort of sleeps, puts it asleep. You go do something else, and then you come back exactly at the same place. So it's really the same as if you were out playing for hours. I tested myself on X. I started getting these things after the third day, and I just quit the sim and restarted, and it was pretty much fixed. Here we're investigating to find a solution to pretty much clean up pretty much the RAM after a while, so that it does the same as if you were quitting and restarting. And maybe there are other causes, so we're still investigating. Could be just very local if it's a specific asset and specific airport. There can be LOD management issues or.
Розкажи про консолі.
So there's quite a few different possible causes here.
Okay. Thank you, Seb. Will there be continued memory fixes for Xbox users, specifically those who are experiencing crashes with airliners or long flights?
So yes, there's been some fixes in the first patch, some in the second. I think that's usually the ones
як ти сказав,
where it
бачиш,
says,
зараз нас
several
просить
crash
на
fixes. That's really just
космос
memory
полетіти.
optimizations, because memory may crash anywhere and randomly, so there's no specific case where we can say, hey, we fixed the crash in this or this case. So there's been optimizations in both updates, and we're planning to do more. This is one of the highest priority of the team, and so we're investigating both on the code side. So what has been optimized was the way we organized mesh data in a better way in memory, so it fragments less, and so basically it holds for a much longer time and can accept bigger meshes. I know there's optimizations going on assets like airplanes or airports, which will help a lot on this area. And yeah, we're continually updating and
Можна його якось
investigating to improve
виключити.
this.
Okay. All right. First question we asked
Стоп, ми можемо і фар.
already. The next one: what is the status of third-party hardware default profiles, as many of them need updates?
So I can answer to that. So they won't. So now the setup is stored into the packages. So it means it's completely unrelated to any executable. So you can share, create, download the packages whenever you want. So you
VFR на 641 тисячниці.
have the benefit of a new piece of hardware if the setup is coming with it. So the packages, you can more or less distribute those packages like you would do for planes or sceneries. So it can go through the marketplace to come, or just shared by download to be copy paste in your committee folder. I think that's also answering the next question.
That's a good question. Yep. Thanks, Marcel. And already seeing this in the chat here, but what is the status of the marketplace?
We can't hear you, John.
Yeah.
That is what happens when I mute myself. So we just decided to wait with the marketplace until early 2025, and the reason for it is that, the marketplace is by and large for third-party creators. We want to make sure that they have time to properly test everything, make sure that there is a flag that they're going to set that is basically approved by developer before we put it in the marketplace, and just going to take a little bit more time. So
More time needed,
but
of course.
We've made a lot of progress, so I don't think it's a long time, but it's going to take a little bit. And then the
Sooner
second
than
question about the
soon.
Oh, you want to take this one, Marcel?
Which one?
When will we have an option to disable certain packages in the My Library section?
Exactly.
So this should be come soon. We're talking about the patch 3 to come in mid-December. That should be the option
Mid-December,
should
нічого
be
собі.
there.
Okay. Thank you. All right, we are now getting into our feedback snapshot here. So go ahead, take it away.
Що це за якість?
Yes, so, this is actually a huge thread.
Yes.
Yeah, there is a lot of stuff in there, but one of it was airport lighting. And I think, Martial, you told me that we fixed that in patch 3, airport lighting issue. with
Yes.
some spots.
Yes. So we had some issues when the sorry, so the light where it was edited on the airports. Everything generic was working fine, but with the edition it was broken, and this is the part that has been fixed. So on that thread on the forums, you can see some pictures being made on, I think it's Dallas, and
Занадто багато
this part
дерев.
is completely fixed now. But we still have some other issues.
Під розглядом.
Yeah, so one
Трими
of it is,
H125
I
не
think
працюють.
It's not
Наша
all
варіація не
stories,
має
so
тримів.
yeah, so that's,
Страждайте.
pretty much the issue is that,
А вони
and
зараз про це все
it's
будуть
the same
розказувати.
in 2020, and in 2020 we worked quite a bit on this, is that we don't display each individual light around the globe. There is a maximum distance, I don't know, depending on the level of detail, a few dozens of kilometers, maybe 50 kilometers, whatever, at which we stop displaying street lights. I think it's first removing house lights and then bigger streets, and then from a very large distance to still have this look of a city, we have a texture of illumination at night of the globe. And first of all, I don't think it always 100% matches the data of the sim, and secondly, it doesn't have perfectly the same colors. It's something we already had the issue in 2020. You don't really notice if you fly normally and you don't zoom, but as soon as you zoom, or if you don't have a very high level of detail, it's more noticeable. So I think we already did quite a lot of, I would say, tweaking and patching around of this in 2020. It never really completely solved the issue. I think the only way to fix this
Як мені попросити
completely now
доступ
is to
до
actually
дельти?
bake the individual night lighting into some sort of night texture of the world. That would be just like a day aerial, right? Just like we have the areas during day. A special lighting aerial which would have a much higher resolution, be always up to date. Some system like that is the only way to completely solve it once and for all. And I think that's the next step at some point, is to fix it this way. Maybe we can have a little bit of tweaking in the meanwhile, and we will further look into the thread. So that's like one of the, I think there was 11 or 12 issues which were mentioned. See if we can do fine tuning, and I think the real solution will come when we can actually bake this perfectly into a lighting texture worldwide.
Yeah, okay. Okay, the next one is live weather is not separated from the date that is selected.
Yes, this is something that. So now we do have a system that is collecting weather data for 24 hours, and this is true that when you are moving the slider of the time bar, you will get the weather which is supposed to happen during this 24
Так, є
hours.
буфер погоди на 24 години, і відповідно, коли ти відмотуєш час назад, то погода теж зміщується. Тому для ватсіму рекомендують ставити майбутній день на один далі. Тоді немає інформації про погоду, але тоді вона буде типу якби live.
All right, next one is the mouse free look access crosstalk, where the mouse is overly sensitive when we're free looking in the cockpit.
Та, вона
So
сенситив
we have to
дуже.
be investigating, and we've got to spend more time on that issue.
Okay, FPS performance VRAM bug.
Yep. So this is something. So basically, when
Нема
when
проблем
you
з-
display
на
the
4090.
frame rate, performance sort of display. It's very, really visible. It's a line at the top. So when the GPU is asked to use more VRAM than it actually has VRAM in one frame, we need to load stuff in and out of the GPU. And this causes heavy FPS drops, like a lot. You may drop from 50 to 10, and there's no way to actually fix that. Because that's just the speed of the transfer of RAM from memory to VRAM. So the only way here is to stay below the VRAM usage. So what we display is how much VRAM
Алло.
total is allocated over how much
Як
the
чат
GPU has.
задисейблити?
So you can allocate a little bit more
На
because
що він
sometimes
мені?
not everything is used every frame, and so the GPU will hold up. But let's say you have a 10 gigabyte VRAM, and you use 10, 11, 12. It may hold up, and after a while, maybe 13. There's a moment where, depending on the scene, depending on what you're doing, where the GPU is gonna stream every frame, and that's just gonna collapse FPS. So to help people identify the cause, because you can have a smaller GPU and just have super high ultra settings. We're gonna display a little warning, just like when you have low bandwidth, for example. So it's gonna say low VRAM, adjust graphic setting, because otherwise
Купіть
you will lose
4090.
FPS. The biggest FPS cost
Killer.
is usually screen resolution, so 4K. It's when you're in ultra and you have high texture settings.
Якщо хочете дивитися стрім в 4К, заходьте на YouTube. Там пусто, нікого немає.
It's also possible that there's a leak, a memory leak or a bug, or maybe some specific asset which has issues. So if people identify a specific area or specific aircraft or something which consumes unusually large amounts of VRAM, that's obviously something. If people can report this, that's very useful. We do this on our side. We test, we optimize, we make sure there's no leaks, and we constantly optimize this. We've done an improvement. So the thing I talked about, the Xbox reduced fragmentation of vertex and meshes, that's also something which helps on PC. So it's going to reduce the usage of VRAM. But all in all, at some point, the only way for users is to either reduce slightly make sure that they stay
Мене
below,
саме смішне, що в мене 4090 на YouTube 4К відео деколи крешить відеодрайвер.
VRAM usage.
Yeah. So from what I'm reading from the chat,
Потім нормально працює, але це на хромі. На Firefox нормально. В хромі якийсь такий прикол. І то не завжди. Якщо дивитися YouTube, YouTube довший, бо YouTube не може low latency дати 4К. Якщо вибирати low latency, то тоді тільки Full HD.
The engineers here or the quality assurance service that we have.
Okay, thank you. Next one is the Cessna 172 Classic electrical systems not functioning.
This is fixed.
Добре, що я не перевіряв.
This was we had a bunch of issues on planes. This was linked to how we are reading the planes and how it's got encrypted. And this has been fixed. I think it was, well, I would say it was fixed during the last patch, but I'm not sure. Well, I don't know by heart the schedule that we have. Too many things, but yeah, if it's not already fixed, this should be fixed very soon.
Yeah, looks like it says patch 3, which is next week.
Okay, I'm sorry. Well, it goes too fast.
Okay, next one is the wind and turbulence in career mode.
Seb, you talked to Damian about this issue, right?
Yeah, so this was really a career thing, and they told me it would be fixed in the next patch.
Tower Roscoe Alpha Tango
Okay.
Lima 5
Non-functioning
is
be
type
in
Cessna
VR
Skyhawk, 8
mode?
miles north
Yes,
of uniform
well, this
Kilo
is linked
Victor
to
Romeo,
some other
Kilo
VR issue we are getting on the
7,100
UI.
requesting
This
transition.
is work for some panels, and the FB is included.
Roscoe Alpha Tango Lima
Is part of that.
5012 transition
When I
approved.
went this afternoon to talk about this issue to the team, they were currently working on that. So I don't have an
Report clear,
ETA for
Roscoe
all those
Alpha
things,
Tango
but
Lima
that should come
5012.
very soon.
Okay. The next one is no engine or cockpit sounds and multiple 2024 instances in the audio mixer.
Я щось там м'юту сказав, я
Yeah, we need
просив
to
прохід
investigate
по класу
inside.
далі.
It's there. It's with the team right now.
And we have the CTD with the Tobii eye tracker.
So the Tobii CTD was fixed, but from what I'm saying on the chat, there are also some other issues that we need to investigate.
Cannot unselect streamed packages in my library, which I believe we talked about already.
Yes.
The option being added soon.
Mm-hmm.
And we have flap speeds in multiple aircraft are low, causing deduction of points in career mode.
So I've seen that too. We are reading the feedbacks. It's obviously not here in every plane, so maybe it's plane rated. But yes, it's under investigation.
Okay. I think one related question to that I saw earlier was for career bugs specifically, are those
Вось
going to be
кар'єра
server-side
повністю
fix,
забагована.
or are those in the EXE?
Both.
Both. Okay.
Yes.
Кажу, фіксити треба
And
всюди.
in some of the, so in Korea you got a mix of everything. You can get some issues with planes, so this can be also with streaming thing. This can be also.
Або не треба було кодувати всі аеропорти і кодувати всі навіть дефолтові літаки.
The carrier and all the detections, because all the carriers, all the missions, are computed. So we are updating those missions, and we can also improve the way the mission are generated. You got some executable because obviously there's some part which is run on the clients, and so you can fix and find some
Juliana,
bugs
masz щось
from
має казати?
every single point.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Marcel. Next is control axes are not responding.
Ні, немає.
So yes, we've checked that. This is very surprising because we tried to get some repros and we didn't get any, and specifically on the hardware that was pointed out in the forum thread. So we need to collect more information. If we can get some in the forum, that would be perfect, and we will try here as much as possible to understand exactly what's going on. But so far we had no repro.
Okay. And the excessive amount of trees, I think this relates to the amount and also the size of the 2024 trees.
It's a mix of different issues, like for the carrier. We know that the computation of the vegetation mask is sometimes failing, and we've got also some issues with the tree size, the thickness of trees, depending on species and biomes. So everything needs to be improved also on that part.
Okay. And the toolbar missing in VR, the users having trouble either.
Та це ж
bringing it up
круто, що тулбара нема в VR, навпаки, не заважає це.
This is
їм.
part of what I was talking about when I was talking about the AFB and VR.
Okay. And
This is
mouse, yeah. Also in VR, issues with mouse clicking on usually stops working when they return from the menu. Sometimes when
Yes.
it's just in the cockpit.
Yeah, so this is it seems to be related when the fact that people are switching on and off VR from 2D mode in VR. So we've got the repro. This has been pretty well explained in the forum, so thank you for this, guys. And so we will try to fix that into that bunch of VR fixes that we are planning to do soon.
Great. And H125 trim doesn't function.
Oh, this is interesting. This aircraft, this helicopter doesn't have any trim, so I was a bit surprised to read that. In Airbus, you can get some trim in the H145. Some variation of H125 have some trims, but not the one we've got in the SIM so far. so not getting some trim here seems pretty normal. I don't
Pretty
know what
normal.
to say apart from that. Not getting a trim on that specific aircraft is something expected.
Yeah. Yeah, we kind of covered this already. I don't know if you have anything to add to the ground textures or blurry, LOD system too aggressive, those issues we're
So-
seeing with the popping.
So we'll talk about that. I would say that please use the forums that is already in place to explain exactly your issues. If you can give us some details like your bandwidth, your hardware, so we can really understand what's not going on. Obviously, here in all the places we are doing some tests, when you got the proper bandwidth and the proper piece of hardware, it's working. So maybe we have missed.
Proper
So we need
hardware.
more information, guys. Yeah.
What the
There's the forum. Please, if you can give us some details on how to do the repro. Once you've got your repro, it's always more easy to fix bugs, because you know that you've got the after before things, and you know that once you've done the fix, you don't see the issue anymore. When you don't have it, it's only a matter of
А, як
guesses,
вийти на іншу
and it's
частоту?
super complicated
122.
to say, okay, we found the issue. This should not happen anymore.
Right. All right, number 18, we have the PC24 issues. There was a list really in the first forum post there.
Yeah, so it's passed our test. Just
А, класно. А ти не можеш вибрати аеропорт тоді, який ти ніби на Юнікомі звертаєшся.
And number 19, helicopters jumping in and out of ground effect when near raised platforms, etc.
Yeah, I will look into this one as
Yeah.
soon as I can.
Thank you, Seb. And number 20, can't start a
Працювало,
flight. You just get a
перестало
loading circle
працювати.
when clicking start flight.
This is there's really two situations here. People who have seen this before Friday when we changed CDN, this was a very common symptom of the CDN problem, because you are missing airport. Basically, you are trying to load an airport package or some piece of world, and the CDN says no, and you eventually
Under
get it
investigation.
If it happens after, for people who have
Something can be fixed
Friday,
soon.
after lunch, and they've reinstalled and everything is clean.
Що не знаєш, що ти
then I
говориш
think we need to have
менеджером?
ideally more information if it's specific place, specific something, specific case. Because there's been quite a lot of testing on our side, and for example, this is a case where you cannot get through certificate because you're just pretty much blocked. It's like a crash. And so I don't think we have any of these left right now in our database. But if people have seen this after the CDN change, then please, if you have any information on how to get this 100%, then we can fix it.
Тобто,
Thank you, Seb. And these
чули,
are obviously
баги
just the
треба
top
репортити
20 voted in our
на
forums,
форум.
but Jorg,
Бо розробники
I know
самі не
there's a
знають,
lot-
що в них не працює.
more bugs here than these 20. Do you have anything you want to add here?
I think we're gonna. I mean, look. I think Jane sent me the top list. We read it. We spent a bunch of time yesterday looking through all the forum threads.
Ви лише вчора почали
again,
читати форум?
and we're gonna expand
Нормально.
this list, and we're gonna go back to the feedback snapshot we always had, and it's gonna come out weekly, and we'll give you updates.
All right, and here's a look at the 2024 wish list items.
Дайте
first
більше
one is
якості.
Stephanie.
Yeah, I think the first one.
Packages, and we did this time. The very reason why we did that is because those planes are used for competitive purposes.
А, це щоб інші не підглядували, як вони зроблені, ці літаки, і не продавали. Ну, в цьому може є якийсь сенс.
To go with full uncreated package, but we are thinking about a solution on which we could expose some unencrypted planes, but those planes would be only available for free flight, because we also have the same issue on the carrier mode. That could also, if you modify the planes by default or any other planes, it will be then be something that could damage the carrier. So we want to do that in
Із кар'єр.
a close future.
Cool. Thank you, Marcel.
But just to I mean, I heard from a whole bunch of plane makers that they would like unencrypted packages so they can see how it was done and all that stuff. So we are committed to doing it. Just needs a little bit of time.
Please add birds.
Tower Roscud
66 голосів всього. А ну, всі пішли і проголосували. Це має бути перше.
Roscud Alpha Tango Lima
Де борода?
Streaming in general, and people are hoping that it can be optional. I see this as partial planned. This is what
Yeah,
we were talking
so,
about Seb earlier.
That's what we said. Yeah.
What I explained earlier, so to reduce the amount, so we will never be able to get to zero cloud streaming because the world data is
Клятий
over 1
Твіч.
petabyte
Він
now, so
думає, що ми
there's no way to install this locally. But we can reduce the cloud streaming quite a bit. So as I explained earlier, using a bigger rolling cache. On our side, we will try to make the rolling cache more efficient, and we will add the option on the library where you manage your packages to choose to not install them. I think that was another request if you don't want to have it at all, to have it streamed where it's only going to download if you use it when you use it, and if it's not already in the cache,
Вони
or to
забрали
permanently
Bloom.
install it.
Не можна
So this is
вимкнути
basically
Bloom.
the solution
Прикольно.
we propose. If you don't want to do cloud streaming, permanent install your plane, permanent install the airports you usually fly to, use a big rolling cache to cache the world.
Не то хіта, вітаннячко. Ми тут дивимося чужий стрім
Down to zero, well,
клятих програмістів
not possible to install.
і менеджерів.
So to completely remove it, that's not possible. Also, there's stuff like live weather. There's actually I looked at the amount of data people stream. So it's about 5 to 6 gigabytes per hour. There's actually a fair chunk in there, which is not even world or plane or anything. Which is just weather, multiplayer, mid-career, all sorts of services. It's maybe somewhere between 5 and 10%, especially once you are.
Чого ти
once your
якість
rolling cache is
міняєш?
full and use the same plane or area. Actually, the world and streaming is quite low, and most of the stuff is then weather and stuff like that.
Чого собі? Погода більше місця
Well, that's
трафіку
still
жере,
like
ніж
in the chat.
текстури.
I think hopefully you're clear. You will be able to download the planes. You will be able to download the airports.
Yes.
The world stuff, we had that in 2020. That is just how we're architected. In fact, we're not allowed to download the Bing stuff. I saw some people, hey, why don't we allow just download the Bing maps? We can't because we don't really own this data as some other companies. So that's why. But if you want,
Ще раз,
the
що
system we
download?
built is a system that's more optimal for most people. But then there are people that want to have a lot of things, and you are.
Є люди, які хочуть мати контроль над тим, що вони купили.
And technically, if you want to download the map, the world data, the Bing data for a Bordeaux-Paris flight, just set a big rolling cache and do a Bordeaux-Paris flight, and it's going to download it and keep it in the cache.
Ого,
So
сюди
that's
навіть.
technically how you can force the download
Tower Roscud Alpha Tango
of something.
Lima 50
I've seen people with over 100 gigabyte cache.
Southeast 7,100
That's
feet
completely
to land.
gonna hold I mean, if you consume 6 gigabytes per hour, if you set a 100 gigabytes cache, that's 20 hours of flying, right? So and
Shit.
low altitude, right? At high altitude, the water data is very low.
Fly straight and runway tree
So
tree,
that's already what it's
Roscud
doing.
Alpha Tango,
And
Lima
yeah, as Jörg said, we can't
5012.
do something. I mean, it's just the amount of data. If you want to download all France,
33, в нас
Bing,
32.
that's
То нічого?
hundreds of terabytes. So it's just not
Напевно,
something
що
which
ні.
is feasible.
I see something. I'm going to answer some questions, Jane, if I can. Like,
Sure.
so some people are saying the Bing data is so old. Well, so I would say, we're benefiting greatly from having Bing, because without that, I would not know exactly where we would get this data from.
Press
Bing updates all the time.
activate.
Bing, I think they're about to sign another contract.
О, ми ще
They
зараз
will
над Джуліанами
update
будемо
the
летіти.
world again.
На.
They're on a 3-year rotation. I think there are some areas that they don't prioritize for their whatever their business reasons are, but by and large, Bing updates a lot. And with flights in 2024, we did take
1300.
the latest Bing data, so that's what
Нам
Bing
казали
has. But I
знижуватись.
know they're going to keep updating it, and so will we, alongside with them.
1300.
Awesome. Thank you, York.
Десь 35.
Number 3 wishlist item is provide readable airport data for little nav map.
Так,
Yes,
це
so
взагалі
the
проблема
team,
дуже.
the two teams are talking all together, so I do think that Little Navmap will soon have access to what's needed.
I'm going to say something about the Google thing because I see it all the time. I mean, it's Google's data. we can't just take Google's data. It's not allowed. So again, I feel like we're blessed to have Bing because it's free for flight sim. We could never afford something like this. So I think we are in a good position. I think Bing is doing a good job. If some people like Google, I don't know what to do, but that's a different company.
All right. Are there any particular wish list items you wish to speak on from our list of 19?
No, I mean, I think look, we obviously are paying. There was a lot of problems with launch, you know this, and that took us 4 or 5 days to just go through this. And the team has since then obviously read all the forums, we read all the feedback, just like we always do, and we will do our best to fix and or address as many topics that are being brought forward. When it says here on the investigation, it's really just that. The team has
Як так палива не стало?
digging through everything, going through the threads, looking for the prioritization. It's just going to take some time.
Okay. Thank you so
Вітання,
much.
Велкрафту. Ти ж пропустиш
Alright,
посадку.
We are going to go ahead and introduce our special guest here. We have on deck Matt Nishan from Working Title. Matt, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome back.
Hey, thank you. Thanks,
Стоп.
I'm sure you have lots of fun, interesting updates for us from Working Title. So
Куди ми
go
летимо?
ahead and let you get started on those.
А ми не в
great.
Гостомель.
Yeah, so we did a bunch of stuff for 2024. Just kind of wanted to share some of that with you all. And a lot of it was kind of sourced from what we saw in 2020 with, you know, our interactions with the community and what we read on the forums and what we as a part of kind of what we call here the core simulator team, you know, tried to really make this experience good for core simmers as well. So there's a bunch of stuff. So I'll just kind of go through it real quick. You guys have seen the enhanced flight planning solution. We've got that inside the sim, inside the EFB. We also have that on the web for second screen, which I'll do a quick demo of here in a couple slides. We wanted to make it super easy for people to share group
цей?
files around and have it to email stuff.
З ким я говорю? Я з Антоном один говорю, чи?
So we've got that kind of built into the experience. Something that was super important for all of us here was charts. You know, I know it said with 2020 we wanted to get to charts and it just didn't work out for a number of reasons, but it was super important for us to do the kind of charts for all things. So we were able to partner with Lido.
13 миль.
Fantastic data. And very wide chart coverage.
Це явно не він.
Airports for sure, but it's going to be super sustainable for us, and hopefully everyone loves the coverage that we've got. It's really great, and we want to make that available to everybody. We've got some new avionics systems, the Epic 2 Apex, the UNS-1. We did a lot of work under the hood that we haven't really talked about, but we'll talk about in a couple slides here about the nav data. And we also worked on standardizing some of the APIs around some of the stuff. So there is already a charts API for JavaScript that we use in the EFB. We've got the route plan syncing API now for JavaScript and WASM. And we're also looking at a charts API for WASM too. So that's under investigation. Just quick stats about the online flight planner and also downloading the EFB. We've got tens of millions of charts served already, which is really, really cool to see. I think at last count we were up in the 70 million charts served. We're getting hundreds of thousands of requests on the site and via our back-end services. Terabytes of charts and map tiles downloaded already. Really, really cool response. And it's been fun to see stuff kind of pop up in streams and have people go, oh, I have this chart. I click this button over here. It's really cool to watch. So yeah. And then I'm going to do a quick demo here of the flight planner. So I don't know. It kind of seems like people, not a lot of people have figured out that we've got this planner that's also.
Бо ви його не рекламували ніде. Я ще на першому стрімі про нього говорив.
Planner.flightsimulator.com. And you can do a lot of complex running things, but it's got all the information. The whole point of this was to give as much information as possible at people's fingertips, you know, when they're doing their flying IFR and
Що ж ми так
VFR.
низько летимо?
So I'm just doing a quick
Hello.
route here. So I'll do, let's say, St. Louis, and we'll go to, let's say, Denver. Oh, that's with a K. And to make it easy for folks, we've got programmatic auto routing. These aren't necessarily real world routes, but it will generate a route for you. That's something that you might see. It picks your departure, it picks your arrival, your best approach. And the cool thing that it does is you've got all the charts for this flight now available to you. And they come out of either Lido, or for some of the less covered areas in the US, we've got FAA charts too. Pull those up super easily. They've automatically pulled in because that's part of your route. I can pull up.
Те, що чарти зробили, це дуже
here.
круто.
If I want to grab our approach, I can just click that button, zoom in and out. It's super cool. And for smaller airports, I'll just go to my local home here. You can type in at the top, get any NavAid airport, whatever. I'm going to pick this DuPage airport. I can see the METAR at a glance. So here's your weather. I can see what the best runway is right now for departing and landing. I can look at all the runways. You can see this is not very favorable. This one might be more favorable. And then, as I mentioned, we've got FAA charts for this. This is not a Lido covered, but we've got those. So you can see those there. We also have procedure previews for everything. So here's the procedure previews for DuPage here. You can see the ILS frequencies, so that's easy, right at your fingertips. And then if I want to actually add this approach, I can do that. Just click the plus. I can scroll through.
Але це тільки для аеропортів, для яких є
plop it down.
опубліковані
Change
процедури.
my airport, so it's going to change me to a new route. And that's the approach right there. So very cool, and you can do that also from this area if you need to. So all of the route is displayed on this. We've got the color-coded segments to make it easy to determine, especially for those visually impaired. So you can, you know, see magenta is en route and departure is red, and orange is approach, and all that kind of stuff. So you can change it here too if you want. I can switch it to ILS 10 coming out of DPA, and then it'll switch that for you. So it's super easy to do. And then super quick, I've got a route that I grabbed from Radar Box. So I'll start over, and you can actually just paste your route in here if you need to. And that'll parse the route and build it for you, super easy. And if I want to save that, I can just hit the save button. I'll just name this test route. Save the plan.
Але ж Radarbox не завжди
And
має.
one of the super cool things, so this is one of the things that we really love.
Окей, це кльово.
What you can do is you can copy the link to this route that you just made, and then you can text it to your friends, Discord, you know, whatever. And if I actually have that link and I pop it here into this other browser window, one click, I can load up that plan, and now everybody can share the plan. Super cool. And then other stuff super quick here. I can look up NavAids. So here's the Northbrook VOR. I can see the frequencies. But we have some VFR stuff for people too. So I can turn on, let's say, topography and railways. And I can start to plan my VFR route. So I can actually do some measurements. I can say measure from here and start to see where my route is going to take me. And I can bail out of that if I want, see what it is. But the other thing I can do, if I just clear that out, I actually quickly make a route along that, append. Actually, let me start over because I'm going from France. I'll just add that, append, append, append. And now you've got a route started for your VFR routes. I want to follow this river. I want to follow this, this railway here. So yeah, a bunch of really cool stuff. We hope people like it. It's not the only things that we're doing with this. Is kind of the base feature set. Right here. But Jane, if you want to go on the next slide, we're kind of talking about what else we've done. So we've already done 7 updates on the planner, which is really cool. It's been kind of under the hood, but we're listening to you guys and we're expanding it. comprehensive performance planning is coming. Right now it's just basic trip planning with average speeds and average fuel burns. We've got comprehensive performance planning coming.
Мені сказали clear to
with,
land. Ну тоді,
more calculations. Right now we're testing the brand new performance
Я неправильно
config
тоді аеропорт
platform
видав
that comes with
цьому чи
2024.
що?
So we're kind of gathering the feedback from that. We're listening to developers. We're using it ourselves. So that's coming. And then other stuff that we have under investigation is the aircraft
Це ж не
position.
святош.
So it synchronizes directly from the
Може.
sim. So we would like to do that. We're looking for real world route data sources. And we have a whole bunch of weather. So we'd like to add more weather layers. But some of that data is
Бот
very
не
big. It just
прокинувся,
depends
ні?
on how much the processing is and all that kind of stuff. So yeah.
А, прокинувся.
And here's the super detailed stuff for the nerds. Nav data nerds. One thing that we've heard, and even not nav data nerds, one thing that we've heard is, the biggest thing for add-ons on Xbox that have their own nav data is that it can't be updated very easily, right? And so we wanted to remove sort of the barriers for complex add-ons to be able to
Виключу
use
флайт
nav
директора, бо
data
вони
in the
лише
sim. So we added a
міслідять.
lot of features for 2024. So we got transition altitudes and levels, got all the speed constraints, we've got RNP specs now for every procedure leg, which is fantastic. I know that there were some developers waiting specifically for that. RNP AR flags, all the categories for the ILS systems. We've got the holding patterns, terminal holding patterns now. You can pull those to pull those up in your avionics. All sorts of fun stuff. So we're hoping that as we go here, we're removing the barriers for developers to be able to use the APIs that are available as opposed to having to ship external nav data and make it so that it sort of evolves with the sim. Somebody buys an Xbox plane and it uses this API and they get, they kind of get all this stuff with every update. So we've also totally overhauled the nav data pipeline. The JavaScript API now does everything that the Wasm API does. It's got more details for ILS and DME, TACAN. We added some other runway stuff that wasn't there, overrun blast pads, minimum altitudes for airways, those were missing,
50, 40,
and some other stuff.
30,
And we're looking at,
20,
I know a couple
10,
people asked us about
5.
GLS. We actually did look at GLS and we had an implementation of GLS going early, but the problem is the data's not yet complete at the state level. With the GLS system, the aircraft gets all the data from the ground station, so it doesn't really need to be in the ARINC data file. So it's not, and we're not the only simulator company who's talked about this. So there's the states are starting to produce this data, and hopefully in the next months to year we'll have some of that, and then helicopter procedures too. So all right, moving quickly, we did the Epic 2 Apex. It's super deep. It's in 3 planes. We've got a lot of flight planning features on it.
У нас нижня, ця ліва стійка вимагає більше ремонту.
We've got the GUI for hold radial intercepts, DME hold, the different flight director options, both of the HSI styles, so developers can pick that, synthetic vision.
Звідки вони беруть оце пленочка? Що таке пленочка?
All the configuration options, and we've got plugin support, like all
Убивав
of our
би, от
plugins for
серйозно.
all the different types of displays, so MFD, PFD, TSC, all that kind of stuff. Just a couple screenshots. You guys have seen this, but just wanted to show them off. We've got some airway stuff on the left here. We've got the point-bearing distance radial-based flight plan additions right there on the right. And then we've got our PFD on the left. And then we've got the lower MFD plus some TSC on the right-hand side.
Насправді цей чувак з Working Title, він дуже багато що. По суті, вони були розробниками модів до дефолтових тисячки і 3000-ної. І потім їх Microsoft просто взяв під своє крило. Вони зрозуміли, що таке вони самі зробити не можуть. От вся ця авіоніка, що а-ля планшетна, це саме завдяки цій команді. І вони перескакали Explain навіть.
And we do some simulation of position and accuracy. So IRS drift, we had some folks asking about that. And a bunch of the CDU interactions, the cursor, the fonts and graphics and all that stuff. So I think we have a couple of screenshots of that too.
Oh yeah, for developers for the UNS. That's ready to integrate. We've got it on the MSFS avionics framework site already, the GitHub. We've got documentation, so that's built on the avionics framework. You can hook up to the event bus.
Так не працює у вас UNS 1. Ото це єдине, що ми був розчарований.
And we've got support for all kind of different sensors inside the panel XML that can hook up to the UNS. Here we go, screenshots. So it's a little bit hard for me to see, but I think we've got arrival selection on the left. We've got kind of the init screen on the right. It's a pretty unit, you know, it's older tech, but it's cool to look at. And then we've got the hold screen, which is kind of unique to the UNS. So yeah, we had a lot of fun building that one. And then just last, finally, for developers, this is kind of a roundup. Again, we got new APIs. We're standardizing route sync in the sim. We wanted to make it so that everybody could have route sync API. We don't have to have specific implementations for every provider of synchronizing flight plan routes. We've got the charts API for JS, so people can start using that today already. We've got our new version of the avionics framework. We released that. We've got the documentation. And just wanted to mention the opt-in compatible avionics for 2024. We're calling them V2. So if you have a 2020 airplane, it doesn't automatically get the 2024 features, but developers, if you want to opt into those features, you can upgrade to the 2024 avionics, and most of those upgrades are fairly simple. Some of those are even just changing the panel config to point to the new ones, and you might be ready to go. And again, new documentation. You guys have seen those links, but just wanted to provide them again. Yeah, it's been a blast to work on. Obviously, we've all been super busy, and we'll continue to be super busy. And it's gonna be a fun 2025.
Thanks, Matt. Especially thanks for that demo of the flight planner tool, the web tool, in case anyone didn't know about that yet. Just a couple comments and questions here.
Yeah.
Matt, if you make a flight plan in the web tool, does that mean, can it be shared with Xbox players? Do you know if that's possible?
It can. So in the InSim EFB, there's a button on the planner app, the route page. At the very top button, it says, I think it just says load flight plan or load from web, I forget. And that will pull up a screen that will have the flight plans that you saved on the web version. So if you save a plan on the web version and then you give people the link, they can save that plan to their own profile, and then they can also just click on that button.
Бо я не зробив по процедурі.
So super easy.
And it's just a comment for
Overflying
us.
airport.
I'd love to see this flight planner
Runway excursion. Там не було там runway excursion, що розказувати. Що таке overflying airport? Я якийсь аеропорт, який пролетів і не попросив дозволу? Та бо ваш дурний ATC просив нас забратися на 700 тисяч.
So definitely avenues that we're discussing, you know, here and internally and with Asobo, and we definitely hope to expand some of that stuff for sure.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you, Matt, for joining us today. We appreciate all the work that Working Title does, and Chad is appreciative as well. So thank you so much.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody.
Це ми можемо 400 тисяч. Прекрасно.
Now we're gonna look at MSFS 2025 sustain. York.
Yeah, so I was really struggling if I should even put this here, but let's go through it because I think, you know, the launch was awful. We know this, and we talked about
Launch was awful. Launch was a disaster.
2025 is coming, and we have lots of cool stuff. So the first thing I saw a bunch of times in the thread, what about World Update Brazil? So we intended to launch it, I think today, actually, either yesterday or today. And due to everything that's going on and some other things, we decided to move it to either January or February. We haven't quite locked the date yet. The good news is, there is a piece of good news, and you can just scroll through this.
О, ні, це буде знов Бразилія. Ой, не знов, а вперше Бразилія. Але не забувайте, що Бразилія разом з Росією і Арабами створює новий анти-США союз.
Just the greatest news because they have a bunch of cool planes that we really want to make. So we're planning on doing something with them for the Brazil update. So it's going to take a little bit of coordination. That's why that, and because of honestly the launch issues, we've moved it. The other thing I want to show you is this is the plan for 2025.
Я не бачу,
I read
бо ви...
the thread the entire time, and yes, the things we promised we would do, which is we're going to do 4 world updates, 3 city updates.
Вони більше нічого не сказали.
And famous flyers. As I said earlier, we're planning tentatively to do a large sim update, a significant sim update once a quarter, and then we have 2 surprises. Can't wait to share those. It's going to be some fun next year. And then the next slide. And I just want you, I mean, hopefully you've felt it today, and the reason why I'm smiling less is because I'm sad because the launch didn't go as well as it should have done, and that's on us, frankly.
А чи вона була не від Microsoft?
All we can do is apologize and work hard. And then make up something. And so the makeup, we will make the next 4 planes we had planned free. The first one is the Cessna 185F from Coronado. It's almost done. Then this one we've already announced is the Palestina that comes out with the World Update Brazil. And there will be 2 more. I honestly don't exactly know which 2 more we will do, which is why I didn't put the slides here. But as a makeup, as an apology.
Голова Microsoft Flight Simulator не знає, що вони роблять. І що буде готове.
In the meantime, my perspective is, do we have too many bugs? Yes. Was the launch strange and really frustrating? Yes, for all of us. And it's on us, as I said. But we do have a great platform here. We have great teams. The Asobo team is doing awesome work. The working title team is doing awesome work. I had a blast working with all the partners that made aircraft. Lots of them are really good. And we'll continue to do so. And again, all we can say is we're sorry about the launch. We will be better, and we will fix this and make it the great sim platform that it really can be and will be.
Thank you so much, York. Seb, do you have anything to add before we end the stream?
Yeah, thank you for all the feedback. Very, I was happy and surprised to see the wish list and bug list to come together so quickly, and we're trying to work hard to get them resolved as quickly as possible. A few of them are already.
Я хочу цей ще
and we'll continue to do so.
Обробляти поля в Flight Simulator.
Listen to feedback and bugs and wish list. And yeah, thank you for the feedback.
Треба пасажирів возити.
Forum posts, very helpful stuff, and a lot of people are. We can see that a lot of people take a lot of time to really document things very seriously, and that's really amazing. Thank you.
Приватний чартер. А в нас є приватний чартер?
Really helpful. Makes our resolving issues much faster. And yeah, just thank you for everybody. Thank you for the patience of those who've been waiting on the loading screen. And yeah, as Jörg said, we will make it better.
Thanks so much, Seb. Marcel, anything to add?
You're muted.
Yes, that was a tribute to you, Jörg. No, I would also thank the team because they have spent some harder days these last days, and we are listening. We are listening to you. We are listening to what happened. And we want to the full team is dedicated to do what we did on 2020 and to turn that team into one of your favorite, if not the favorite one. That's all. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much, you 3, for joining me today. And chat, thank you for your patience with us, and we look forward to chatting with you soon. Happy holidays to you all. We will continue to, of course, be
О, поплавлені будинки. Краса смерекова. Головне з чартерами не потрапити в гру про розслідування причин падіння літаків. Це вроді має парашут. Ні, це та й не має парашут. Господи, а що в нас з фреймрейтом? Як там зняти кришку? Ульо. Це все? Все смеркова. А, ні, тут є парашут. Яй. Fire. Engine start. On, off. Так, а де тут батарейка вмикається? Не підка... А, ось тут ціла панелька. Цікаво. Ну так, просто тицяєш. Це автотротл, це fuel control, це трім, це газ. Ну що, let's go? Fuel quantity miscompare. Bleed off. Добре. Щось не працює. Parking on, closed. External power not required. Де тут кондиціонер може бути? Тоді charge. Невже це робиться? Lead valve closed. І що мені робить?
Welcome to Toronto Island Airport. I'll be making sure that you fly safe throughout your exam. You will be passing this certification in the Cirrus Vision Jet G2. We've got some light crosswind blowing from the north. Pay special attention to its impact on aircraft handling for both takeoff and landing.
You take off emergency battery. Who are you?
Ground Uniform Romeo. Foxtrot Mike Zulu request taxi for takeoff straight out departure. Uniform Romeo. Foxtrot Mike Zulu taxi to and hold short of runway 26 using taxiway Charlie Delta. Contact tower on 119.2 when ready.
Тут нема SVT. Acknowledge. Як це всрато виглядає, це жах.
Runway 26 via taxiway Charlie Delta Foxtrot Mike Zulu.
Так, перше, що я бачу. Працює дрон. Якраз take off emergency battery. Who are you? Take off emergency battery. Де тебе шукать? Це кондиціонер. Так що це включено, чи це навпаки треба вимкнути? Нічого собі. Дивина. Can break disengage. Поїхали. Тобі там добре стояти за... Хотіли би таку бричку? Його, напевно. Я щось не зрозумів. Що тут треба стати, не? Неправда, капець. Так дивіться, вони нас хочуть... Вони нас ставлять... Ну, тобто, в них holding point за цим, за лінією холду. Це ж за це штраф дадуть. Оце місце ж екзамен, вони не могли це зробити нормально.
City Tower Uniform Romeo. Foxtrot Mike Zulu ready at runway 26, departing straight out.
Uniform Romeo Foxtrot Mike Zulu altimeter 29.902 straight out departure approved. Cleared for takeoff runway 26.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 26 Foxtrot Mike
Тут
Zulu.
чек-ліст є десь, але нашої нам. А що з них 26? 26. Поїхали. Закривайся. Ага. Взагалі не розумію методики цих екзаменів.
City Tower, Uniform Romeo. Foxtrot Mike Zulu 1,800 feet to land.
Uniform Romeo Foxtrot Mike Zulu City Tower. Altimeter 29.902 make left base runway 26.
Make left base runway 26 Foxtrot Mike Zulu.
Foxtrot Mike Zulu wind 019er at 1 tree. Cleared to land runway 26.
Полігони. Шестикутне колесо.
Foxtrot Mike Zulu, did you copy?
Yes, of course.
Cleared to land runway 26 Foxtrot Mike Zulu.
Це капець, це ще восьмикутне колесо, це, звичайно, дуже кльово. Так, лендинг є, це все є. Швидко йдемо. Спойлерів не знаю, чи тут є. Тут є спойлери. Таке враження, що нема. Реверсу тут теж нема. З якийсь боковий вітер, його взагалі не відчувається. Terrain, terrain. Pull up. Давай. Падай. Вау. Це ж так гупнуло. Звук дуже кльовий. Ну, по звуку був екранер. Ні, таке ти що. Так ж в експлейні він теж по дефолту. Чи я щось путаю? Ні, вроді би ж є вже. Ні, він досить стабільний. Тут казали... Там казали, що якийсь кросвінт я взагалі не відчув. І після того вірь. Не знати, кому вірити. Остіну. Чи Asobo.
Going to 121.7 Foxtrot, Mike Zulu.
Він ці клавіші, звичайно,
Uniform
такі.
Romeo, Foxtrot, Mike Zulu taxi to parking. Uniform Romeo, Foxtrot, Mike Zulu taxi.
Ти мене сам туди.
Parking using taxiway Alpha Bravo.
I'm mad. То все, будемо тепер всіх возити на ньому. Ну, мені трошки не подобається, тут спойлерів немає, так розумію. Реверса тим більше. Чи є реверс? Взагалі як машина. Парашут тут є, до речі. О, блін, оце... А, де моя голова? Є парашут. Треба перевірити, чи він працює. Куди ми їдемо? В дерево знову. Ні, дякую. А ні, це перед деревом. А, тут все на сенсор. Ну і я тобі скажу, що тут набагато ліпше пророблена оця вся система. Перформанси, weight and balance. Росте собі береза. Який день? 19 лютого. Хто це такий? От seriously. Кавалер ордену почесного легіону. Він його десь в Африці заробив? Вистрілюючи. Захищаючи. О май гад, що це було? Таке враження, що фреймгену прийшли капці. Як вимкнути, до речі? Старт-стоп. Жах. Однокнопковий літак. Бувай!
It's not every day that you see pilots flying as well as you did. Congratulations.
Чому не S? А, бо тут нема S. Окей. Чому не мільйон? Мені так подобається, коли про Jet Power говорять, а показують якийсь кукурузник якийсь. Це так смішно. Так, і покажіть мені тепер, скільки той Кирус коштує. А я не можу подивитися в компанії, яка займається карго. Не карго літак, правильно? Це треба створити спочатку компанію, щоб знати, які ціни на базарі. Ой, здається, ми поламали гру. Є easy фарма грошей? Є, але він тобі не сподобається. Бо, по суті, ти читериш в синглплеєрній грі. Я скажу так, є штуки, які дозволяють тобі телепортуватися. І гра це не фіксує. Тобто ти проводиш всі процедури, взлітаєш, говориш з диспами, ставиш на паузу, телепортуєшся перед аеропортом, сідаєш. І так повторюєш. Бо коли скіпаєш, воно з тебе гроші забирає. А так воно думає, що ти не скіпаєш. Ну, але це вже питання, хто як хоче робити. Можна прискорювати час. Це, в принципі, я вважаю не чітом. Якщо ти летиш на автопілоті, то в 4 рази час можна собі підвищити. Головне не забути його потім забрати колись, бо ти очманієш, коли будеш сідати. На 4х. Сім-рейт називається. Там треба 2 клавіші назначити. Але в грі немає індикації, який сім-рейт зараз є. Тому з цим треба дуже обережно. Реально рахувати натискання кніпочок. Все, здається, ми зламали гру. Ну вона пропрацьована, що вам цей? Що ви так зразу? Деколи просто не працює.
Завантажив MSFS, мрії злетіли вдаль. та замість польоту боїв чорна скрижаль.
Руління це теди, пальне просто зникло. Це зима цендво знову переклинило.
Кляті програмісти, чому так усе? Кар'єра розбита і болить від цього серце моє. Літаки літають, я би радів, та ні. Кар'єра – це шторм у безвиході.
Закрилки працюють, ЕТЦ говорить, але місії зламані, це тільки тривожить. На тебе заправки я таки не знайду. Кляті програмісти,
Чому все йде донизу? Кляті програмісти, чому так усе? Кар'єра розбита і болить від цього серце моє. Літаки літають, я би радів, та ні. Кар'єра – це шторм у безвиході.